Midlife is not about fading into the background. It's about coming home to yourself. And Katie Farinas has the tools by her own life story of how she was in the dark and she found the light through yoga and coaching. So if you're struggling to find your purpose and passion and your intuition, listen to this podcast today and it will change your life. Hi, Katie. Thank you so much for being on the Choose Courage podcast. I'm thrilled to have this conversation with you today.
Oh, Terry, thank you so much for having me. I am so excited about this conversation too.
Yes. And I don't, you and I met, you have your own podcast, and
Mhm.
I love it because you talk about things that women can do, not just women, anybody, right? But
Yeah.
mostly women in their midlife and how it's not the end. It's not a
Yes.
decline, but it's an
Yeah.
awakening. And your
Yeah.
podcast showcases that so beautifully. So I want to just dive right into your story because I
Okay.
think what you're doing for women and people that are confused and feel like they don't know where to go. And it's such a huge transition in their life that you're giving them such beautiful tools. So I know you
Thank
had your
you.
own awakening way back. I don't know when this was, where you had to
Yeah.
do your own work and dig deep. So tell me
I
how it
did.
started. Yeah.
Yeah, I did. So, I'll try to give the most abridged version I can with also, having your audience understand the journey, so to speak. But I really started questioning things right after I graduated college. I was very young when I started questioning, but I really put a lot of that questioning to the side for a long time, and I tried to fall in line with cultural and familial expectations because I didn't know what to do. I just knew things. I didn't feel like I fit into the mold of society, the way society was operating, but I didn't really know what else to do. So I kind of just trudged along doing what everybody expected me to do. And then I experienced pretty bad postpartum depression after the birth of my first child. And that kind of started unraveling things for me in a way that I thought, there's something here. But again, it was a tug, it was a pull, but I didn't really know where to go or what to do. And I just, there's an expression from our generation, just pull up your bootstraps and you keep on going.
Mhm.
And that's what I did until the birth of my second child. And at that time, I developed debilitating chronic migraine.
Oh.
And it was so debilitating that I couldn't take care of my kids. I had to take a leave of absence from my job. I was a nurse at the time. I became profoundly depressed after a long period of time of running from doctor to doctor and trying medication after medication, with no improvement. I was very, very, very sick, and I contemplated taking my life. I was that sick and that
Oh.
depressed. And I thought about my children and I thought about them because at the time they were 5 and 1. And I thought about them growing up without a mom, and I thought about them thinking like, why wasn't I worth it for my mom to stay here? And so I made a decision to not do that and to stay. And at that time, I was completely disconnected from my intuition. I don't believe your intuition ever goes away, but I had placed so many layers on top of it that I really could not hear my intuition at all. But in that moment, I heard a whisper and it
Oh.
said, go to yoga. Literally, I can hear it now. I can hear it now as we're having this conversation. That's 3 words: go to yoga, go to yoga. And I had done yoga like on and off throughout the years. Always been a really physically active person. There's probably not a form of exercise that I haven't tried
Mhm.
or done and enjoyed. And I'm a big outdoors person and hiking and biking and all those things. But yoga was just a form of exercise. So I had no idea why I was hearing these words, go to yoga, but I was in such a dark place that I listened and I went. And I couldn't even do a lot of the class because I was so ill. But I happened to land. I mean, I don't really believe in coincidences. So God placed me, the divine, the universe placed me in a really beautiful studio that was very loving, very accepting, non-judgmental. And I would go in and I explained to the teachers, like, I probably am not going to be able to do a lot. And they were like, just lay down whenever you whenever you need to, just lay down on your mat. And I did, and that's what I did. And I would go in and I would listen to the Dharma talks that they would do in the beginning of class, and I would do the deep breathing, and I would do the movement that I could do, and I would lay down when I couldn't. And I would leave there feeling like, if you imagined my soul as being, a house with all the curtains drawn and all the windows shut, and it's just darkness inside, I would leave there feeling like someone had cracked a window,
Oh,
right? Like
so
there's just
beautiful.
this little bit of air and this little breeze coming in and a little bit of light, and it was just enough to get me to the next class and to the next class and to the next class. And that was really where I started cracking open, right? So before that, I had all these whispers and pulls and tugs, but I didn't really know what to do with them until I had this kind of dark night of the soul experience. And I was
Mm.
really at my most, I was on my knees, like, God help me. I don't know what to do. I'm so desperate here. I don't even want to be on this planet. And I got 3 words. That was the response to my prayer. 3 words.
So powerful. This is so incredibly powerful. What if you didn't listen to those 3 words?
What if I, yes, right? What if I didn't listen?
Yes.
Yeah,
And you
yeah,
found a safe place. There's just so much I'm taking and gleaming from this. You also found a place
yeah,
that felt like safe and home
yeah,
and loving and where you could be in that depth of despair
yeah.
and still be loved and surrounded. And then all of a sudden, they are helping you see the light, just even a crack. And
Hmm.
that's what it takes. I mean, sometimes you have to hit the worst, absolute worst time in your life to understand
Yeah.
what you do have. And that's
Yes.
like that started slowly unfolding.
Very slowly, very slowly. And the Dharma talks were a huge piece of that. And what I want to emphasize to your listeners is that, yoga is, some people use yoga just as a form of exercise, but that's not the intention of yoga. Yoga is a system, an eightfold, eight path system that is a form of nervous system regulation. So yoga is the physical aspects of yoga, the breath work, the movement, the meditation, the dristi, the being able to focus your eyes. This is all forms of nervous system regulation. And then once your nervous system is regulated, you can dive into all the deeper aspects of yoga, the philosophy behind it, and the connection with something greater than yourself and the purpose. It's really it's a complete system to what they call in yoga philosophy enlightenment.
Yeah.
And so I didn't even know that until I reached this dark place, and I really was going there because I didn't know what else to do. And that's when it started to land. I'd gone to yoga classes before, I've done the breath work, I did the movement, I heard the Dharma talks, but it just didn't land until I was ready to receive it.
Isn't that the truth? You're not ready till you're ready. That is really
Yeah.
the truth. And you
Yeah.
thought it was exercise more.
Yeah.
So, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I will also say, though, intuition is very funny. So if your listeners are out there and they are also feeling disconnected to their intuition, many, many years, I can tell you I was very disconnected. However, there are some things that come to mind that I know is my intuition speaking to me in retrospect. I didn't realize it at the time, and I can now look back and see that. And I think that that's a real clue on the path. So here's an example: the word yoga. I remember the first time I ever heard the word yoga. I was in college. We were in on the basketball courts about to just play a pickup game. And I was in Malasana, which is like yogi prayer squat. I was not in it because I knew what that was. I was literally just moving my body and stretching. And someone said to me, "Oh, that's a yoga pose." And I heard the word yoga and it, boom, it just like landed. And I knew somehow intuitively I needed to be a part of that. But then it left. I went on to play my basketball game and I lived decades before I came back. But what I'm saying is, I remember that moment. Okay. I was probably 18, 19 years old, and I can remember that moment like it was yesterday. That's your intuition speaking to you. So, if your listeners are out there and they're like, I'm really disconnected from my intuition, do you have these memories that you can pull from in your past that you're like, wow, why do I even remember that? That's such an insignificant moment. I should have forgotten that.
Hmm.
That's your soul speaking to you.
Oh, I love, 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 love this. I've been asked this question many times. The difference between understanding your intuition versus your monkey mind,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And the fear mind.
Yes.
And so,
Mhm.
how do you, something it gets very mixed up with for a lot of people. And I've had to also go through something very deep, dark. And
Mhm.
that's when I realized that I could always count on my soul, my intuition. But it was until that moment, just like you, that I'm like, oh, that's what it is. I get it.
Yes.
But for most people that don't have to go through something like that to find it. So any other tools that you can give
Oh,
our audience?
yes. Oh my gosh, there's so many. So, meditation is a huge one. I think that meditation really is the portal to transformation. I know a lot of people have resistance against meditation. They feel like they can't do it, they're not good at it, and we could have a whole episode just on that topic alone.
Okay, we will.
But okay, sounds great. I love that. But if that's you, if you're like, I've tried it, it's miserable, I can't do it, find something that is meditative. Okay, so that could be making a meal, undistracted, right? Nothing, no music playing. You're not twiddling with your device in between stirring, like you are just making a meal. Or taking a walk without your phone, or even dancing, turning on some music in your house and just having a dance party. Like,
Yes.
do something that clears the mind of everything other than what you're doing, right? And again, it's not going to be 100% clear. You're going to maybe turn on that music and have the dance party and be in your groove and your love and life, and it's fantastic. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, shoot, I forgot I have to do this at 4 p.m. today, right? But let it go. Great. That's great. You had the thought. It's gone. Keep going. Go back to your dancing. And that's the setup for meditation, because meditation isn't about clearing the mind. It's about allowing the thoughts that are there to pass by and not getting attached to them. And I don't want to get too far into that because I don't want to take up our time here on that. But that's a huge way, is just to do something that allows you to be extremely present in the moment and feel joyful while you are doing it, whatever
I
that is for you.
I think it's absolutely the most beautiful tool and advice you could give anyone. And because it's not so overwhelming. I mean, you just go out to nature, just look at a tree, look at a flower, look at a
Yes.
bird, there's just so
Yes.
many things that can
Yes.
get you into that present time. But I love music,
Yeah.
dancing, all of that. There's just so many things that and I always recommend to my clients to write the list down when they forget. It's like, okay, what's
Yes.
some things I could do? Oh, yeah, that's right. I wrote it down in
Yeah.
case you just feel like you're kind of lost and you're scatterbrained and you know that you're
Right.
not in present time. And
Yeah.
there's so many things. So
So many things. We could go on and on. But let me say one other thing about that intuition.
yes.
Your body is very wise, right? So our bodies are far wiser than our brains.
Mm,
But we live in a society that flips that, right? That everything we need to analyze and think about, we need to have data, and we need to have proof, and we need to have all these things, right?
yes.
Let that go. Let that whole paradigm go and get connected to your body. And you can do that by going to yoga class. You can do that by simply setting the intention to do things mindfully, right? And it can be small. I'm going to choose every time I go to the bathroom after I wash my hands. I'm sorry, after I go to the bathroom while I'm washing my hands, to really pay attention. I'm going to feel my feet on the floor. I'm
Mm,
going to I'm going to actually watch as I pump that soap, watch it drizzle into my hand. Then I'm going to turn on the water. Oh, I hear the water running. Then I'm going to put a little water on my hands, and I feel it kind of dripping over my hands. Now I'm rubbing my hands together. I'm feeling the friction of my hands. I'm feeling the smoothness of the soap, right? This is a meditation. You're doing a meditation, right? And
I'm
it
still
can
there with
take,
you right now. I mean, I'm
right?
feeling it. I'm like, oh yeah, I feel it on my hands right now. Yes.
Yes, right? You
Yes.
can, maybe the soap has smell, right? And maybe it's a soap that has a fragrance. You could breathe in if it smells good, the smell of the fragrance. Now the water is warm. You're rinsing your hands. Then you go over to the towel. You're feeling the soft towel as you pat your hands dry. You have completed the meditation. You leave the bathroom. Okay, right?
Beautiful. And who would think that you could get centered into your intuition and present while you go to the restroom?
Yes.
That is beautiful. You can do it anywhere, doing anything. I mean, that is
Yes.
really true, though. It's just slowing everything down, so just
Slowing
slowing
everything
it all
down.
down so you can see things. or feel things,
Hmm.
right? Or smell things, all of our
Yes.
senses. It's
All of our, yes.
so beautiful. And
Yeah.
I want to transition, because I think we at least have given the audience a few things that they can try if they don't
Yeah.
understand how to connect to their intuition. Unless there's
Yeah.
one more thing you want to say, but I think those are really great tools. And I
Yeah.
want to transition into, fast forwarding to what you're doing now, using yoga
Yeah.
and using your coaching and with
Hmm.
people to really find out what their purpose is and to use their light, use
Yeah.
their purpose for a greater good to create
Yeah.
that ripple effect and the importance of that ripple effect. So tell
Yeah.
me
Yeah.
what you do with your clients and so that people are listening right now can
Yeah.
also be besides, first of all, becoming present, connecting to your
Hmm.
intuition.
Hmm.
Now, let's transition into how do you find your purpose in midlife, let alone.
Yes, yes. So I coach through, I specifically coach on people who are looking to uncover what I don't call it, what is called their dharma, which is your soul's purpose.
Mm,
And your soul's purpose, we actually all share, every one of us has the same purpose in life, which is to be love, to be the embodiment of love and light, and to spread that into the world and to get to know ourselves. So, really, our purpose is to remove any obstacles, okay, any layers that we've accumulated over a lifetime of being the embodiment of love and light. Okay. Now, the way in which we express our love and light varies from person to person. So, one person may express that by being a musician and putting beautiful music out into the world. Another person may express that by being a stay-at-home mom and being, really present with her children.
mm,
Another person may express that by being a life coach, right? Or a podcaster, or a teacher, or it
yeah.
doesn't matter, right? It's your soul's expression of light and love, the essence of who you are. And I coach women to do this through the lens of yoga philosophy, the
Mm,
whole path of yoga. So people can actually sign up for a particular program where I actually teach them one on one. We do yoga sessions one on one. And then we move on to we connect body, mind, soul, and then we start doing some of the deeper inner work after we've calmed the nervous system. So the poses of yoga, the breath work, the meditation, that's all about getting your nervous system relaxed and open, getting you out of fight or flight and into
mm,
that parasympathetic relaxed state where you can receive, right? You
mm.
can receive information from the divine, from God, whatever, your intuition, whatever terminology resonates with you. And you can also get enough separation between the stories you've been telling yourself forever, right?
Yes.
To see what is true, what is not true, what do I want to keep, what do I want to remove. We do a lot of work around values. What are my values? And are my actions actually in alignment with what I say my values are? And if they're not, then why? And how do we recalibrate? And it's a journey of really just getting to know yourself, getting to know, what's holding you back. You talk a lot about courage,
Mm,
right? It's a lot
hmm.
about courage. So in science, they call it, I'm blanking on the word. It's samskaras. How can I know the Sanskrit word and not the English word? But
Because you were
in
focused on that. Yeah.
yes.
Oh, good.
The Sanskrit word is samskaras, but basically they are this repetitive loop, these repetitive thoughts you think or feelings that you feel or actions that you perform that you have been trained to think, to do, and to feel.
Hmm.
And many of them don't serve you,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Many of them, if you constantly find yourself getting triggered over things where you're getting really angry about something or you're getting really sad or feeling like people have not treated you well in a certain way, there are patterns in our lives.
Mm,
And when we can recognize the patterns, roll it back and say, where did that come from? And then there's a process, but there's a process of releasing the pattern. We can bring new patterns into our lives and ones that actually serve us, ones that will move us closer and closer toward the way in which we want to express our soul's essence or our dharma.
You are speaking my language, and I just absolutely I believe in everything you just said and how true and how important this is.
Yeah.
Because I spent many years trying to unfold, what's the cleanest, most direct way to help someone become,
Yeah.
the true essence, and
Hmm.
not from the past, right?
Yeah.
And how to break free from old stories or old beliefs
Yeah.
and make the new ones that do align with your dharma. And then you
Yeah.
use yoga, and that calming of the nervous system is so beautiful
Hmm.
because then you're able to recognize what the truth is versus not the truth.
Yes. I
And
really that nervous system regulation I think is the first piece. And it's ongoing. We never stop, right? I'm regulating my
yes,
nervous system every day, many times a day. We never stop. But we have to learn how to do that and how and what it feels like when our nervous system is regulated, what that feels like in our bodies. And then we can start recognizing what is mind chatter, what is intuition, what is true, capital T true, and what is not. That's when we can start recognizing that stuff is when we're more regulated in our bodies.
you are such a gift. And I mean, you're such a gift for anyone listening right now. Please work with, I will send all your information to sign up because there is hope. This whole
Yes.
conversation to me has been about hope
Yeah.
and that little spark that you thought that you could be to have that purpose and joy and
Yeah.
passion in your life, that it's
Hmm.
possible. Just like that
Yeah.
little sliver of light that when you were in yoga and everything was so dark. That's
Yeah.
what you have given everyone today that's listening. There
Oh,
is hope. It
thank
doesn't
you.
matter how old you are. It does
Yeah.
not matter what you've been through.
Yeah.
And the person that you want working with you on this is a
Mhm.
person that can hold space for you that's so beautiful and
Mhm.
safe. And it's a person that has gone through something similar, that they can
Yeah.
relate to you. And that's what you've done.
Mhm.
You've gone through it. It's not like you've just learned this and haven't gone through it yourself.
Yeah.
And so if you're to leave the audience, I mean, you've given so much today in this conversation. It's just so beautiful. Your love, light, everyone, just
Thank
remember
you.
that. That's who you
Yeah.
are. But if you were to give one last tip, I guess, or tool or
Mhm.
thought with your audience, what would that be?
Don't ignore your whispers.
Mm,
That would be my most, I think the thing I want people to understand the most, those little whispers, that thing or things that just keeps coming back, keeps coming back. Don't ignore those. Turn toward them, investigate them. Give yourself permission to dream, to put a toe in the water, right? You don't have to jump off the high dive, right? You can just put a toe in the water. And gradually, one little step at a time, move towards those whispers and those tugs.
that is so beautiful. And that's what you did with your life. And it takes a lot of
Yeah,
courage. We didn't talk a lot about courage. We kind of stumbled on it. But courage
yeah,
really is the Latin word for core, meaning heart. So it is connecting to
yeah.
your heart, to your dharma,
Yes,
to your light,
yes,
to your
yes.
love.
And it does take
Yes.
courage to do all this. It takes courage to, break free from our patterns and to, change our lives. If we're talking about potentially kind of jostling things up a little bit in our lives.
Yes.
And that takes courage. People are afraid of, they'll be judged or they'll look silly or they won't be good at something or all these different fears that we have. But if you can push through that, if you can feel afraid and do it anyway,
Yes.
then the beauty and the just satisfaction and fulfillment on the other side is so worth it.
I couldn't agree more, really. And it's just you have to push past the thought that you can't do it,
Yeah,
and then you get people around you. You get the people who are going to support you to create this life you want, like people like you,
yeah.
Katie. And so
Mhm.
I appreciate your conversation today. You're a
Thank
breath
you.
of fresh air and
Thank you.
hope and love and light. And I thank you so much for
Mhm.
this conversation today.
Thank you so much for having me here, Terry. And I have to say, you were on my podcast and now I'm on yours, and I'm just so grateful that we've come into each other's lives. I can just feel your heart through the Zoom call. So
Yes. Thank
I'm
you.
soaking it in, and I'm so grateful for it.
I feel the same. I feel like we're spirits. I mean, it was just,
Yes.
it's nothing, like you said, it's not by accident that we have
Yeah.
met and that we're
Yeah.
helping people in the same way. And
Yeah.
it's a beautiful thing. We're in this together. So
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Thank you.